My name's Dewe Mathews. I'm a photographer based in London. I came to photography through fine art at university, where I was really doing sculpture and installation, sort of conceptual art, but got slightly frustrated by that, moved into the film industry straight after college, had about 4 years working on big feature films, which was great, really fun, exciting, stimulating, but wasn't actually that creatively rewarding personally, because you're a small ant in a big machine, and you sort of I suppose I wasn't finding myself able to really be creative day to day. So that's when I was starting to think more about doing photography, and then documentary photography really became quite a clear path, or something that made a lot of sense to me, because it was a way of being out in the world, learning from people, always doing different things, and also expressing myself creatively as well. I suppose it's a natural instinct, and so I look for the stories that speak to me and that feel interesting to me, and it just so happens that always is the smaller ones, because they're the ones that you can actually feel like you have some response to. If something's huge and you're told about some big issue, it's just like either another news item, or it's just sort of, it's too large to fathom or to process. And so definitely my way of getting involved or trying to think about a larger issue is through a smaller story or a smaller set of people, because that's when it really seems to activate something in my mind. I've always seen taking photographs and documentary about as being sort of an extension of who I am or what I do anyway. So for me, finding stories has always been through just my life, rather than, I don't go through the newspapers and look for interesting stories. Like, I don't work at all like that. It's more that I just try and have a interesting life, and hope that through conversations or places that I go, just your ears are always open to things. And so, every conversation you have, you might just mention, oh yeah, I was doing this yesterday. That's interesting. And then, is it that interesting? Not sure. Anyway, either look into it or don't let it pass, So for example, the Hasidic Jewish piece, my boyfriend was living in Aberystwyth, and I went to visit him. And just at one stage, I remember someone talking about, oh, when are the Jews coming? And I thought, and then asked a little more, and then as a result of that, thought that would be an interesting story to follow up. Same banger racing, I just went one day because I thought it'd be fun to go, not really with a view to photographing it at all. And then the whole Caspian project all came out of a very long trip that my boyfriend and I did in 2010, where we went to India and then we hitchhiked back for about 9 months. And the whole idea was to, expose ourselves to as much as possible, in order that we might find something, not necessarily only for photographing, but just because that's what life's about, is about, expanding your mind and learning about other people. So it was through that trip that we went through the Caspian region, and then found certain stories that I thought, oh God, this would actually make something really interesting. And then as a result of that, I've gone back to that region for the last 2 or 3 years. Well, I think there's so many good female photographers at the moment. Some of the people that I look up to most, my peers, the people I talk to, other photographers that I talk to about work and where we're going and everything, so many of them are women. So I don't think there's a lack of people around my age, who are doing it. But there's obviously, the baby problem, and or not problem. When people have babies, they have different priorities for a while, and so the whole thing of, a career progression in the male sense or in the non-baby sense, it just has to be different. So of course, also being a photographer is much more, it's sort of unknown, it's freelance, it's, I do have quite a few friends who have children who continue working, but it's incredibly hard. And for those people, a lot of those people do have mothers or friends who are incredibly supportive, so that they're able to say, oh, I've just got to shoot, can you take this baby and stuff. So I think as far as I can see, that's the main issue with it. Then going further, I mean, there's so many women who are not photographers but who are in the photographic industry, so there's a lot of power, female power within the industry. But yeah, I mean, it's tricky. I think ideally everyone just wants the best work to surface, and it's not really about whether you're a woman or a man. But it's great that there are platforms like Firecracker and Fiona, who is supporting a lot of different women because they have really good work, and that's obviously the most important thing.